Okay.
Hari Om sir, I had some homework, that's why I'm late.
Okay, Hari Om.
Let's chant. Sada Siva Samarambha Shankaracharya Madhyama Ashmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara.
Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah.
Good evening, children. Let's start Hari Om and let's start today's class with the story of the King of Udupi by Naina. Naina, are you there?
I think he might come little late, so we can come back to the story.
Okay, sir.
We can go to the next. But if he is also not there, then we can go to our class.
So I think I'll start with the class and then go back to the story.
Come back, yeah, that is better.
Okay. Okay, let's see what we learned last week. It's verse 6. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante tam damevaiti kaunteya sada tat bhava pavithaha. And last week, Sarika ma'am narrated the story of Jaraprada. That is a very good and beautiful example of this verse. At the time of our death, instinctively our thoughts would sum through our vasanas, and those thoughts at that moment will determine your direction of your next birth, be it a deer or God. So it is like as you think, so you become. That is a very apt quote of this verse. 8.7 Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhya mayarpita mano buddhir mame vaishyasa samya samshayaha. Praying to God and living our life are not two ways actually. Even while not alone on your good times, even living through turmoils of existence, a true seeker must learn to keep our thoughts continuously upon Ishvara. Only then our mind and intellect will be absorbed in Ishvara and we shall reach him at the time of our death. Abhyasa yoga yuktena divyam yati pathanuchintayan. Here Krishna says, O Partha, with the mind not moving towards any other thing, but making steadfast by the method of habitual meditation on the Supreme Ishvara, and that person reaches me. Kavim Puranam Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram Manoranyamsam Anusmataretya Sarvasya Tataram Achintya Rupam Adityavarnam Tamasa Parasat. This verse Lord Krishna beautifully explains the attributes of Ishvara. Kavi means omniscient, supreme knower who knows everything. Purana means ancient. The self is considered as the most ancient because the eternal truth is that which was before all creations. Anusha Sitara, the overruler, the one who gives karma phala to all the jivas according to the law of karma. Anoranyam, minute than an atom, the subtlest of the subtle. It indicates that it pervades all and nothing pervades it. Sarvasya Dataraha, the nourisher of all, the one who is the substratum, the support of the entire creation, being the very cause of the creation. Achintya Rupa, of form inconceivable, the one who is beyond our thoughts, the one who cannot be objectified by the mind. Aditya Varna, luminous like the sun, the one who is the illuminator of everything like the sun, the one who is all the illumining consciousness. Tamasa Parastat, beyond all darkness, consciousness is a supreme light which can illumine the darkness as well. And 8.10, Prayana Kale Manasachalena Bhaktya Yukto Yoga Balena Chaiva Bruvor Madhye Pranam Aveshya Samya Sadam Param Purusham Upaiti Divyam. That is, at the time of death, with an unshaken mind, full of devotion by the power of yoga, by bringing the breath, that is the prana, between the two eyebrows, and that seeker reaches the Supreme Purusha. Is Aniket present? Aniket, are you there?
I think he's not there. So let us move to Nayana also.
No, sir, Aniket is there, sir. You can hear him.
Is there?
Aniket, are you?
He's there. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. So today I'm going to tell about the story Naranda being taught a lesson by Vishnu. So next slide. Once upon a time, once visited Kailash to pay a visit to Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati. Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati noted and approved then Nandi, who had been present, perished Narad and the greatest devotee of
Aniket, we'll do one thing. See, you just, without seeing that words and all that, just try to tell what you understood by the story.
So this means that. So first the
Narada, Narad Muni also it is called. The picture which you are seeing children here, Narad Muni. Yeah.
So he was like coming from the Lord Shiva. Then the Nandi told that you are very good and you are a very devotee to the Lord Vishnu.
Correct.
Then Narada gone to the Vishnu to ask that who is the devotee of the Vishnu?
Who is the best devotee of
Who is the
Vishnu?
best devotee of Vishnu?
Oh.
After that, when Narada asked Vishnu, then the Vishnu told, one guy is in the earth who is the best devotee.
Oh. Let it be behind. Don't show this. Okay. Carry on.
After that, when after that the Vishnu told that you see him whole day. Then when the Narada was seeing from the whole day, the Narada saw that the earth who was living at the earth, who is the devotee, who is the best devotee of the Vishnu, he was telling 3 times the Vishnu's name.
Chanting. It is called chanting.
Chanting the Vishnu's name.
Okay.
After the whole day over, Narada went to the Vishnu and told that even I praise you for a whole day. but still I am not your best devotee. Then the Vishnu told, okay, first I am thirsty. I will tell you the reason, but first I am thirsty. Can you bring water from the pond?
Oh, okay.
Narada brought the water and did not let a single drop to fall.
Hmm.
When he brought the water from the pound to Vishnu, then he was telling the Vishnu names only 2 times. Then when the 2 times when the Naranda came and Naranda came to the Vishnu. Then the Vishnu told, how many times did you told my name?
Hmm.
Then the Naranda told, I told 2 times. And how many times that? Then Vishnu told, how many times that Earth told? Then the Naranda told 3 times.
Hmm.
So, thank you.
Good. So see, without reading, you are beautifully narrating the story. So I request children, you should narrate without reading. So with pictures. So we understood that Narad Muni was a great devotee, but not as good as the devotee on the earth who was doing his duties as well as chanting the name of Narada. Narad Muni is only chanting the name. So what is this message? What could be the message, children? Anvit, what is the message? Let me know. Can you tell us what is the message of the story?
So the message of the story.
Aniket, no. Anvit, wait. Anvit is listening to the story, right?
He is a great devotee of Vishnu,
Who?
Narada,
But who is the greatest?
Vishnu.
Okay. Anyone else?
Sir,
Anyone else can tell?
So can I tell?
Okay, tell us.
So when why did the Vishnu told? Why? Because when the earth person, when he was farming full day and continuously farming all the shine, that time he was telling Vishnu.
Hmm.
He was continuously farming and he told 3 times Vishnu. But with Narada only told 2 times. When he was like giving water to Vishnu.
Correct. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's the story. All the kids remember God while doing whatever you are doing. It doesn't mean you should sit at one particular time and remember God. If you're studying, also you can start with whatever God you like.
God is everywhere.
Correct. He's everywhere. But if you want to be the real bhakta, you should be constantly chanting the name, and that can only happen when you are doing whatever you are doing. You should chant His name. So these are the things which is we have learned from this story, that Lord likes those people who do their work and as well as chant the name. Not those, He likes those who are chanting the name. But if they're sitting idle, not doing any work and just chanting, that's not what Lord likes. Okay, let us go to the next story. Madam, you take over now.
Okay, sir. Naina?
Yes. Namaste everyone. Today I'll be telling the story of the king of Udupi. Next slide, please. So this is a story of the Kurukshetra Yuddha. So basically, as we know, the Kurukshetra Yuddha was between the Pandavas and Kauravas, who are also cousins. So between these two, many kings joined them as allies. And one of those kings was also the let's say uncle of Nakula and Sahadeva, who was also Madhuri's brother, who had joined the Kauravas side on the Pandavas' request. So the story that was it's a very short incident that Duryodhana invited Mathuri's brother before the Pandavas to join them. So when he said that I will join the Pandavas, so then the Yudhishthira said that it is right for you to join the Kauravas as they called you before. So as the story goes, so all of these kings joined the Kauravas. Many kings, many of Krishna's brother-in-laws also joined the Kauravas. And then the story goes of the king of Udupi that he could not choose a side. So he said, "I'll take over the kitchen for so many, because there are so many battles and no one took over the kitchen till then. There are so many people in the battle who are fighting. So so he said that I'll take over the food for the battle for the 18 days of however long the duration of Kurukshetra is. So after the 18th day, the Pandavas noticed that the food which the Udupi king used to make used to always be enough for all the soldiers which are there. So all the soldiers used to have food. No food used to go to waste, and they felt this was very strange. So then they went to the king of they called the king of Udupi and asked him, saying that how did you know how many exact soldiers are there? So then the Udupi king answered, saying that, oh, this is very simple. I took a bag of peanuts to Lord Krishna every evening after the food was over and everyone was in their respective tents. I used to take a bag of peanuts to Krishna, and then I used to observe very closely what alone he used to eat. So how much ever he had consumed, so I would count the kings. I would count the amount of peanuts I would have kept in the bag, and then I would observe carefully how many peanuts did Krishna eat afterwards. Then I would understand that if I multiplied the amount of peanuts which Krishna ate into 1,000, then I would get the amount of soldiers which are going to not come for dinner the next day. So that was very simple for me to understand. Then the Pandavas understood that Krishna already knew about this and was giving clues. And then Krishna, it seems, when they asked, how did you know that you have to take a bag of peanuts to Krishna every night? He said that Krishna was hungry one day and came to the first day of the battle, came hungry for some peanuts in the kitchen when I was keeping everything in its respective places. And then he seems goes to the kitchen and asks a bag of peanuts, and he eats only this much. And then the Udupi king notices that if how many ever peanuts he has eaten into 1,000 is the amount of soldiers, he understood and continued for the rest of the 18 days. So next slide, please. Hari Om and Dhanyavadam. I hope you could enjoy the story.
Thank you, Nana. That was really an amazing story. Thank you so much. And now let's go to this week's slide. Starts with Pragna, 8.11. Pragna?
Yes, ma'am. Hari Om, everyone. I'll be presenting the 8.11 verse, and I hope you all enjoyed. I request you all to chant after me. Yadaksharam veda vido vadanti.
Yadaksharam veda vido vadanti.
Vishanti yadyatayo vitaragaha.
Vishanti yadayatayo vitaragaha.
Yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti.
Yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti.
Tatte padam sangrahena pravakshe.
Tatte padam sangrahena pravakshe.
Thank you, everyone. So the literal meaning of the verse goes as follows. The scholars of the Veda describe him as imperishable, great, ascetic, praise, the vow of celibacy, and renounce worldly pleasures to enter into him. I shall now explain to you briefly the path to that goal. Next. So, the story that Aniket said about, Narada chanting Vishnu's name, it's actually coincidentally very applicable to my verse, especially because in the past few verses, Sri Krishna has talked about mainly stressing upon Ishvara's form itself, how he is incomprehensible and such. Now he pays attention to the name Ishvara itself. So having now meditation is one of such a boon that is granted by Paramatma to us to reach him. That is the difference between us and animals. That is what we term as intellect in humans. So this not only purifies our mind but also our breath. So our mind and breath are the two most important parts of our body keeping us alive. So if in those two areas, if they are purified with the name of God, and if they're in the path of bhakti, then what more could you want? Like Paramatma literally resides in you at that point. And then Sri Krishna advises that seeker must be a Vita Ragaha, which means free from selfish desires, likes, dislikes, basically all the materialistic things. So, as we've had multiple examples, like our mother's cooking something nice in the kitchen, and we're trying to meditate, but then we smell it and we get distracted. So all our sense organs are constantly working, right? So Sri Krishna basically tells us to calm our mind down, to keep it in control, to not get easily distracted, as we have learned in the previous chapters. So he's basically saying that try as far as possible, at least if you're not able to do it once, gradually try to push away all these intrusive thoughts, and those who have gained complete control over their mind, they can focus on the Paramatma successfully. Next slide. So to support my example is the best, support my statement, the best example is Brahma Rishi Vishwamitra. So first, he was a Kshatriya and he had human emotions like anger, arrogance, greed and all that. So his anger towards Vashishta, desire for Menaka, and when he created Trishanku Loka, he wanted it to be petitioned in his name. So, and then after that, he chose the path of tapas or austerity to overcome these hurdles. So again, as he was human or as he was Kshatriya, he faltered at many times, like he made many mistakes, but then he gradually conquered them. And ultimately, the tapas led him to ultimately get the Brahma Jnana. So this is, how easily we can relate this to our lives. We are also still humans, and we are most definitely going to make mistakes in this path of obtaining the Brahma Jnana. We're going to get distracted, or we'll have bad thoughts come into our head, and various other things. So when someone as great as Vishwamitra itself was able to attain was making mistakes while he was in the paths to attain the Brahma Jnana, Sri Krishna says that it's completely okay for mere humans like us to do the same. So, and also in addition to his spiritual achievements, Vishwamitra is credited with composing scriptures in the Vedas, Gayatri Mantra. So from an arrogant person, he went to such a highly spiritual level. And he also trained Sri Rama and Lakshmana with all the powerful mantras and weapons, which shaped their childhood, basically. So the seeker, the next part of the verse says that the seeker should possess a strong desire to inquire the knowledge. So basically, they should have the desire to learn the knowledge itself. So then Sri Krishna talks about brahmachari. So what do we think about brahmachari, the first ashrama? And then we think it's celibacy, basically when you're not involved in any sort of samsara or relationship, and you are completely focused on gaining knowledge. But in this, Sri Krishna decides to go through a more broader spectrum of brahmachari, and he says that he is the person who moves around, or is constantly in the pursuit of knowledge. He won't stay still. It's like an inquisitive, like cats are usually curious, right? They want to go around touching everything, going into paper bags and all that. Like that, we have to be curious. Our mind should be hungry for knowledge, is what Sri Krishna means by the term brahmachari here. In the Brahma, so this is why the Gurukula system that we followed so many centuries ago was very beneficial, because there the students used to live with the gurus themselves. So the guru and his wife would be the mother and father of those students. So the ashrama, it led to discussion of Vedas, Upanishads, and Dharma. So it was not only theory. The students also interpret their own meanings, they had practical assessments. So all sorts of overall learning was going on in that particular tenure of years they spent with the gurus. Next slide. So most of us in right now are karmacharis. Basically, we are preoccupied with action. So many things are going around, especially in this day and age where everything is moving so fast. This will definitely hinder our meditation. Nobody can deny that. But once free, like as we gradually make up our mind to control ourselves, we can finally, the seeker is ready to meditate on the ultimate goal, which is the Ishvara, or what we call as the Aksharam, the main Aksharam. So I hope you can understand this verse. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Pragya. It was a very good explanation. Well, like this verse talks about one who is free from attachments. The more number of desires are entertained by us, what happens? We have mental turbulence. And because of that, we get so much attached to these desires. It's like us leaning on this cardboard chair for support. Can anyone tell me what happens when you lean on the cardboard chair? It breaks. Because this cardboard chair is used only for decorations. It's like that. These desires are not infinite, they are finite. So when we start to let go these desires, what happens? We have our mental dynamism changes, and we have a very clear mind. So when a meditator's success always depends upon a clear and a clarified mind without desires. So the one who has understood has great success in this path of knowledge. 8.12, Swastik.
Yes, ma'am. Now, first, I'd request everyone to chant after me. Sarvadvarani sanyamya.
Sarvadvarani samyamya.
Mano hridi nirudhya cha.
Manohridhinirudhya.
Murdhanyadhayatmanah.
Mudhyadhyayatmanah pranama.
Pranamastito yogadharanam.
Pranamastito yogadharanam.
So the literal translation of this verse says that restraining all the gates of the body and fixing the mind in the heart region, and then drawing the life breath to the head, one should get established in steadfast yogic concentration. Next slide. So, in the explanation of this verse, Krishna wants to give explicit instructions to Arjuna. How should he control himself and be able to slow himself down? He should not be overly active. He should not be constantly thinking about something else. He should be thinking about the constant yet unconstant Ishvara. But Krishna first says, you must restrain the gates of the body. What exactly does he mean by restrain the gates of the body? Our body doesn't have any gates. Here, Krishna refers to our sensory organs as gates of the body. It is not that we have literal gates inside our body. He refers to them as the gates of the body due to the fact that they are gates for sensory stimulators or stimulants, which will make you think other things. You need to be able to restrain these areas. You must not touch anything other than yourself. You must not see anything. You must not smell anything. And you should not hear anything. As well as you should not taste anything. As these will stimulate your mind into thinking other things. Now the second part which Krishna says is fixing the mind in the heart region. Now what could he mean by this? Krishna wants us to focus our mind on two things. Breathing, as we have learned from our Dhyana Yoga chapter, and we have to focus our mind upon the heart. or more specifically, the Anahata Chakra, which is present near the heart. Actually, it is present on the thymus gland. So we need to control this chakra, as this chakra controls our blood pressure levels, and ultimately our blood pressure levels are the levels which keep us in check. If our blood pressure rise, then we get scared. Either we want to run or we want to fight. This is hormonal changes. So if we fix our Anahata Chakra, then we will be able to completely stay out of contact from nearby everything.
I'm not able to
So next slide. And the last, but certainly not the least,
Sorry to interrupt. Aniket, you are not able to hear, but we are all, I think
Sir, I'm
everyone is
not
able to
able to hear.
Yeah, but I think then all others are able to hear, isn't it?
Yes,
So
sir.
you try to log out and log in
Yes, sir.
again, or use some microphone. Maybe the device which you have has some trouble with the audio system, because everyone is able to hear. Okay, Aniket, try to log out or make use of some headphone. Try it, so you will be able to hear. Okay. I don't know whether I have also messaged you. Continue. Sorry to interrupt.
yes, sir. No problem, sir. Now, this last part which he says is to draw the life breath to the head. Now, what does this mean? This is as confusing as the other two. Well, I will simplify it. What he means to say is you need to increase the blood flow to the head, as per my understanding. We can also find correlation between these as the life breath, which we can consider as our air that we breathe, or the oxygen that is present within it. This helps us to live. This is the main part of our living ability. And so we can find correlation within this as well. And so if we are able to provide more blood to our brain, then it would be able to work faster, yet it would be thinking about what we could say as chaos, or simply the constantly changing yet unchanging Ishvara. So this is not quite possible as per our current people who work upon our blood vessels, like cardiologists and angiologists. Yogis had many abilities which we also do not understand until now. And this could possibly help us to achieving this as well. I just want to say that this is towards my understanding and this has not been practically confirmed. So please do not take this seriously. Thank you, everyone. Hari Om.
Thank you, Swastik. That was really a very good presentation, and that's what my sum up is also about. Here, Krishna talks about 3 conditions that need to be fulfilled by a meditator, that is a person who's meditating. First, that is you have to shut the 5 main gates. What are the 5 main gates? 5 sense organs, through which these sense organs are a way through which the external world reaches the mind zone. So how can we control it? By detachment and discrimination. You have to be very discriminate and detached from desires. Next is confining the mind in the heart. What does that mean? That is, when you start visualizing Ishvara in the heart, then you have to have your mind in your heart by visualizing the Ishvara. Then next, prana should be withdrawn from their respective centers. And it should be brought to the top of the head. Like Swastik said, many yogis, they do it, they perform it, and they practice it. But I think we should also try doing it. So the person who makes an attempt by forgetting his immediate surroundings, surcharged with joy and contentment, can bring his mind under control of his discriminative intellect and that person can naturally chant Om with ease and concentration. That is what a meditator should be. That is how a meditator should be. So to the next verse, 8.13, Ankita.
Yes, ma'am. Hari Om, everyone. Om Ittekaksharam Brahma
Om Ityakaksharam Brahma
Vyaharmamanusmaran
Vyaharan Mamanusmaran
Yaha Prayati Tyajan Deham
Yah
Yah
Prayati
Prayati
Tyajandeham
Deham
Sayati Paramagatim
Sayati
Sayati
Paramagatim.
Paramangatim.
The short meaning of this verse is uttering the monosyllable Om, which is Brahma, and remembering me, one departs, leaving the body, attains the supreme goal. And next. In this verse, Lord Krishna tells how to attain the supreme goal. Here, Lord Krishna tells about the best way to attain him. Lord Krishna says that anybody who chants Om and remember me during his last time of life certainly gets my special attention. But it is possible only practice to remember me during the whole life. The sound Om is eternal and boundless. It is the most sacred word of the universe which belongs to God, the supreme power. Also, first word of all mantras is Om. Here it is clear that Om and Lord Krishna are not different. From next.
Yeah, thank you, Ankita.
Thank you.
Yeah, like Ankita said, Om and Krishna are not different. They are one and the same. So, Ega Aksharam Brahma means Om is a monosyllable word revealing Brahman. Remembering Om or chanting Om at the time of one who departs, leaving the body, thinks about the infinite, which accompanies the Sukshma Karna Shariram as Jiva towards the highest goal of life. That person attains Karma Mukti. Now, 8.40, Moksha.
Hari Om Mol. Ananya Chetaha Satatam.
Ananyachetam Satatam
Satatam
Yo Mama Samaritti Nityashaha.
Yo
Mam
Smarati
Smarati
Nityashaha
Nityashaha
Tasyaham Sulabha Partha.
Tasya Sulabha Partha
Partha
Nityayuktasya Yogini.
Nityayuktasya Yogini.
Yogini
Of these words is I am easily available to that yogi who is ever steadfast and who constantly and continuously remembers me always with an undistracted mind. Oh, in this previous verse, Lord Krishna had explained the way of attaining him at the last time of life. That practice of sadhana of formless God Om is very difficult. So Lord Krishna tells here another simple way of getting him. Here Lord says that the person who always thinks of me is also a yogi. Also, I am in personal form of God who is easy to attain. In this verse, Lord Krishna says that an exclusive
is necessary to attain him because it purify our mind and keep close to God. Hari Om.
Thank you, Moksha. In this verse, Krishna is very careful. He insists, he emphasizes, and also commands that the thought of God must be maintained by the seeker. That is like the story what today we heard. In every thought, we should have the thought of Lord in whatever we do. You study, you read, you eat, sleep, everything. Thought of the Lord should be there. So the seeker should maintain it constantly and continuously through the day, 24/7, 365 days. We should have the thought of Lord within us. So, to such an individual, I am easily attainable, O Arjuna. How beautifully Krishna explains that each and everything we do, we should have thought of him within us. Next verse, 8.15, Aditi.
Hari Om, Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I request everyone to chant after me. Mamupetya punarjanma
Mamupetya punarjanma
Dukkhalayamashashvatam
Dukkhalayamashashvatam
Napnuvanti mahatmanah
Napnuvanti mahatmanah
Sansiddhim paramam gataha.
Sansiddhim paramam gataha.
Thank you. The literal meaning of this verse is having attained me. Those great souls do not take rebirth, which is an ephemeral abode of misery. They have attained liberation, ultimate. Next slide, please. From the 15th to 22nd verse, Krishna talks about the two goals in a human's life. One is world, which is filled with the 6 Arishad Dvargas, which are Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, and Matsarya, which is greed, desire, delusion, ego, and jealousy. You might have a lot of money in life, but this is not the permanent. It might give you a lot of joy. But one day, all this money might just go away. You might have a big car, you might have a big mansion and all of that. But none of this is permanent. And the sense organs too, they keep pulling you towards, they keep distracting you. But this is all just, illusions. This is the worldly life. So, and the other goal is God. The imperishable, all-pervading God, which remains till the very end. A spiritually led person aims for this goal. Coming to the verse, this verse, Krishna says that those who have attained me, they will never return back to the samsara or this worldly life. For example, you wake up early in the morning every day and meditate every day for let's say around 1 month. The next day, it becomes a habit for you that it's not easy for you to you'll just forget about it. You won't forget about it and do it anyway. Let's take this challenge. For the next 25 days, let us all wake up early in the morning and meditate. You'll see on this 26th day, unknowingly, you will only wake up, even though the challenge is done, and meditate. You are habituated to this habit. And one more example is that a student gets the first rank for the first 2 years. And the third year, it's most likely that he or she will only get the top because he or she works day and night, pays attention in class. So this is a routine for the student. So similarly, when a jnani attains me, the Lord, he will not return back to the worldly life. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditi. That is really a very good explanation. And here Krishna says rebirth is like a house of pain and it is ephemeral and is self-contained by a given mind and intellect is the ego. Here we talks about the three doshas. That is what the acquisition, whatever we acquire in this birth is not a pleasure, it is a pain. And to preservation of that is more pain. And when you lose it, then it is the greatest pain. So next is the goal. The goal, whatever we seek is finite. So we never get satisfied with whatever goal we have achieved. Whenever we have achieved the goal, our aim will be to achieve even the biggest or highest goal in life. And we all depend on the external factors for support. And this external factors, what it does is makes us weaker and weaker and weaker. So those people who have chosen God over the world is called successful people, and such people are called Mahatmas, and these people have accomplished the highest goal of Purnatvam and they have accomplished moksha. Hari Om. Let's chant Om Purnamadam. Om Purnamadam.
Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Thank you, children. Thank you so much.